All right. Good morning, interwebs, podcast listeners. I say that all the time, although the gist behind the podcast is that you can listen to it whenever you want. You can go back and watch the video cast anytime you want, for that matter, I guess, as well. But nonetheless, it's morning while we're doing this. And welcome to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. As always, I'm your host, Adam Smith. And with me, per usual, is our Marketing Director, Jen Wayboer. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jen.
Good morning. Should I even bother introducing our guest?
Come on.
All right. So we have a repeat guest for you guys today. A friend and colleague from London by way of New York now. Ben Lavender. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate the introduction.
Actually, I guess it's afternoon where you are, too.
It is.
Whether it's New York or London, but we're going to assume you're in New York.
Great assumption. Yeah, I wish more people that I worked with assumed that as well. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me on social media asking me to give them a loan in England, and I have to tell them, sorry, but I can't help you.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a problem.
I don't even know what that would look like in London. I assume that, like most of Europe, the mortgage acceleration type products that we see here are more rampant in London as they are in the rest of Europe, Australia, etc.
Yeah, I hear the rates are lower, but they're harder to qualify in England. That's all I hear.
Yeah, that would make some sense. Okay, I get that. Well, let's talk about mortgages or work or Ben in America.
Oh, mortgages.
Yeah, because we don't have a more boring subject.
We don't.
Right.
But as I said in the post, we are the entertainment for the people that care. So, I mean, it's been an interesting year, right? With as I said before we started filming, with coronavirus.
Yeah.
It's been very, very interesting. Terrible, obviously, overall, but for the mortgage business, there have definitely been some challenges. The combination of underwriting guidelines being tightened up, the influx of volume is just, it's madness. And I say that as someone that's extremely grateful for all the volume, but it's definitely more difficult to manage. And it's not just us, it's everyone in the business. It's the realtors that we partner with, it's the appraisers, it's the home inspectors. It's definitely been a challenging year, but an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely and positive. It's been good.
Yeah.
Some of that with your operation, with my operation, with a lot of our friends and colleagues that run in the same circles. You know, some of it was just dumb luck, although that's a negligible portion, and a lot of it's been years and years of good positioning and hard work and so on and so forth that has made us one of the industries, and real estate as a whole, very successful this year.
Yeah.
And obviously we see a lot of industries that are, struggling, and some that are getting beat up in a brutal manner. Restaurants and hospitality. We did the Mile High Mastermind event last month,
Yes.
which we consider a great success. It was probably the first live event in the mortgage and real estate space. People flew in from all over the country. Nobody got sick, so
Great.
Yeah, huge stuff right there. But that hotel that we did the event at was dead. There weren't any other events. There weren't any other hotel guests. It was really strange. The accounting manager acted as our bartender one night. The general manager was serving us food and drinks at breakfast and lunch.
I'm surprised you didn't hire Chad to serve drinks. That would have made sense.
Well, the drinks would never make it to the table.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Great point. Or they'd make it to the table with something in it.
Yeah, that could be too. That could be too. He would either drink the drinks or spike the drinks. Fair enough.
Yeah.
A shout out there to Chad Catani in Ohio, for those of you that aren't familiar with our
incoming
little
lawsuit.
Yeah,
defamation.
Yeah, he is the resident HR violation. No question.
We love each
No
other.
question. So we've witnessed some of these other industries, directly witnessed that hotel and hospitality industry just taking a beating. I think they said they were up to 10% of their normal workload and that was an improvement for them.
Yeah, it was 3% when we were finalizing our planning, and they were up to almost 10% by the time we were there. Well, up is good.
Yeah. Anything improving is good in this crazy world.
Not to sound negative, but I honestly think the worst is yet to come. It's just the beginning. I think especially like seeing those layoffs with Disney last week or the week before, 28,000 employees. I think, and I hope I'm wrong, obviously, but I think many, many more is yet to come that we're going to see early next year or even towards the end of this year. So I don't think we're going to see that V recovery that everyone's talking about. I think it's going to be more gradual, but, can only hope for the best, right?
I think it'll be more of a W. I think we'll see some improvements and then it's going to decline again. You live in a cold weather environment. You have winter just like we do. And I do fear for what the restaurant industry is going to suffer when we can no longer dine outdoors. That'll be a big one. We've had a very nice Indian summer here locally. It's supposed to be close to 80 degrees again here today.
Nice.
So that's of benefit to that particular industry, but we can't do that in December, January, February. So, yeah, I think that you may be right. And, of course, I don't know, and I don't think anybody really knows. And, of course, it's very, very difficult to believe a single word you hear these days, whether it's media.
That's another interesting thing. Everyone has an agenda. It's just switch it off. Stay in the know, but don't dive deep into the conspiracies. Crazy.
It is.
It's crazy.
No question. So since we don't know anything, we can't predict what's going to happen. It's a really volatile and unpredictable environment right now, unfortunately, but it certainly is what it is. So let's talk positive, though. From a positive perspective, what are some of the biggest impacts that you've dealt with this year? I mean, and we know the volume, we get it.
Yeah, volume's great. When I do these things, I don't really talk about numbers too much anyway. And the thing is, volume, everyone wants to talk about like how great their numbers are in production. And it's like, look, anyone in the business who kind of knows what they're doing is doing pretty well. Right? It doesn't take a genius to do well in the mortgage business right now. It's just a matter of like, how are you going to do in 2 years from now when rates go back up, or if it happens in 6 months, whenever, right? So, I mean, positives, it's like you said, it's volume, but I'm just trying to personally get back into videos, staying as active on social media, because when COVID hit, back in March, and again, you mentioned I'm here in New York, right, which was the epicenter in the beginning. So we went on hard lockdown. So I was working from home from the beginning of March, I think, all the way up till the beginning of September. So I was home for 6 months, didn't go into the office once. I barely saw anyone other than like close friends and family. I tried to keep as far away from them as possible for their sake, because I'm not at risk, right? I'm a fairly young guy in decent shape. So and we didn't know about how contagious the virus was. So I'm just honestly glad to be around human beings on a regular basis every day. It's nice, but it was a big struggle in the beginning. And because New York was hit so hard, we had this huge pipeline with a lot of deals that were at risk because of the new guidelines. And not just because of the new guidelines, actually. To be fair, they didn't hit us that much. What hit hard was the amount of my clients getting laid off. Right? There were a lot of them getting laid off or temporarily, furloughed. And then I had one, she got fired, and then she was scrambling to find like another job, and she was still in contract, but she got her job back like 6 weeks later, and then we closed. So there was a lot of those. And I know a lot of loan officers in the business who kind of like threw their hands up and gave up. They kind of not gave up on their clients, but just because it was so much pressure. So much pressure. I remember they were just, because you got all these people, they're looking to close and they're stressed and everything's going on. And we fought back. It was tiring, but we fought back. And luckily, not everyone closed, unfortunately, but the majority of them did. So that was a big positive, or some type of silver lining, I suppose.
Yeah, that is. There's no question. And long term, I don't think we're going to see a ridiculously enormous impact socially, economically. And when I say that, obviously, humans have been crawling the planet for thousands upon thousands of years. We've had, civilized society for thousands, if certainly even Western civilization for hundreds and hundreds of years. And yeah, I mean, it's a blip on the radar that way. But, the immediate impact for our generation, for people that are, from school-age children all the way up to people living in retirement homes right now is a big impact. There's no question. But yeah, I do agree. I think that there's a lot of positive that's come from it. There's a lot of positive that will still come from it. Early on, it had to be back in the spring. I remember seeing reports of the fact that air pollution had virtually cleared the globe.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, very cool. That the canals in Venice had gotten so clean that dolphins were swimming in them again.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really? In Venice?
In Venice.
That's awesome.
Awesome, right? So it's not all bad. I think there's a lot to be said for attitude. How do you wake up in the morning? Are you just, miserable as fuck? Or do you actually, look on the day with a bright outlook and figure out what you can accomplish today?
No, it's a great point. You have to, especially in our industry, Adam, where there's so much, unfortunately, negativity or stress or pressure. I think you're better at handling it than I am, but that's not something I'm fantastic at by any means. I get stressed out easily from this. So it's just, it's like you said, right? You just got to stay positive and remind yourself to stay grateful for what you have, because we're in a pandemic or a global pandemic, but at the end of the day, we have everything that we need. We just need to be smart. We have electricity, we have heat, we have food. We don't have a shortage of that. There aren't, mass riots for supplies, right? So it could be way worse.
Well,
way worse.
That toilet paper thing early on was.
Oh yeah, that was. I was ready. I was ready.
Okay.
Do not come between me and my Charmin Ultra Soft, because I will find you in the night and your entire family.
Got it. Okay. So
Liam Neeson style.
Do not mess with Ben's toilet paper. Got it. Pro tip right there. And don't get me wrong, I think the supply chain logistics, and I don't know anything about, consumer goods and supply chains, but it made sense to me that the majority of the goods are made on the other hemisphere, a ton of them in China, that obviously China got hit hard first. That was what we still believe to be the origination of the virus. And if those people were quarantined, not able to go to work, were we going to lose out on the goods being manufactured that we would eventually use here in the States as consumers, like toilet paper? Then so be it. I get it. But yeah, it would probably take an awful lot of crap, pun intended, to wipe out the world's toilet paper supply.
Yeah, it really would. Yeah. I think the CEO of Charmin posted a picture of the warehouse and told everyone to calm down. It's just a matter of, we have plenty for everyone. It's just a matter of getting it out.
Yeah, it was merely on distribution, not on that they were actually running out of product, which would seem really strange in the toilet paper world. But then again, our world is a little upside down right now, period. So. Yeah. Who knows? All right, so what do you think 2021 looks like then, Benjamin?
It is going to be, it's hard to predict. I think it could get nasty or it could be really, really great. It's like you said before, I change my mind every day. I mean, personally over here, the eviction courts are backed up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And, once they get caught up and people, sadly, obviously I say it with some regret or sadness in my tone, but a lot of people are going to get evicted. A lot of people who have gotten fired aren't going to get their jobs back. That's not how business works. You don't just, the jobs are just magically here waiting for you. Yeah, just, ooh, thank you. Right? So, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to get evicted, both, renters, homeowners. It's going to be sad. You've got a lot of investors who are obviously salivating at the opportunity, but for those people, it's very, very unfortunate.
Well, and now that makes sense. However, there are probably investors as well that have seen a moratorium on their rent getting paid, on the ability to evict people. Yeah, that's a double-sided coin for sure. And it may very well have resulted in a lot of investors not being able to make their mortgage payments.
Great point.
I mean, we throw a pebble in a pond, and the ripples eventually get to the shore. It's going to be a unique untangling of the issues that we've caused, and I don't just necessarily mean what's gone on with the restaurant industry being brutalized and hospitality being brutalized. But, we've made some changes, increased amounts in unemployment, moratoriums on evictions and foreclosures, forbearances on mortgages. That we're obviously starting to see the first tips of what that iceberg may look like lurking beneath the water. I think the ripple effect is going to create issues that we can't even fathom right now.
Yeah.
And that they're going to last for some time to come.
Yeah, so over here, the only silver lining, I suppose, that there is that for those of you watching that don't know me, I'm located in Valley Stream, Long Island, which is on the border of Queens and Nassau County. Nassau is Long Island, right? So what's happening is that because everyone is trying to get out of the city, mainly the more affluent areas in Manhattan and Brooklyn, you have a lot of people who are trying to buy homes in Long Island, and inventory is extremely low. We have clients bidding $50,000 over asking price on a $400,000, $500,000 house, and they're not getting the house. Right? It's absolutely insane. It's crazy. So, we're seeing a lot of that, and I think it will just help inventory come to the market. That's the only good thing. But it's like my business personally, I typically do the majority of my business in the Bronx, Queens, some Brooklyn, but a lot of Long Island as well. But that shift has gone to like 70-80% Long Island business because everyone is trying to get out of the city, or in Westchester. So it's we're seeing a lot of that, and again, it's good for business, it's great for sellers, but the inventory issue is a real problem. But next year that may change. We'll have to see.
So, and don't get me wrong, I think that we're looking at a monumental shift in that kind of inventory. For years and years, the urban corridors, New York, LA, Denver, Austin, Miami, etc., have all had this influx of population and a subsequent housing shortage because we don't want to have long commutes. We don't want to own a car, whatever the case may be. And one of the things that the pandemic has brought on, as Ben is detailing for those of you listening here, is that we don't all need to go to the office every day. Ben went 6 months without going. Jen and I went for a solid month while Denver was on shelter-in-place orders. And this is going to be true for an enormous percentage of corporate America. We are discovering that we don't need everybody in the office every day of the week, full-time, et cetera, whether that's, Visa or American Express or even, Equifax and TransUnion, companies that, Ben and I interact with on a regular basis, et cetera. These giant corporate places that have a huge amount of corporate office space coast to coast are realizing they don't need it. Now, here's where the byproduct comes into effect. If I don't need people to come into the office every day, and therefore they don't need to commute to the office every day, they can work from home, they can live wherever the hell they want as long as there's a decent internet connection.
Yeah.
Right? So does that change this huge housing shortage problem, this supply and demand issue that we're having in the urban corridors, and we start to see people actually moving out of the city, as Ben is describing, into more rural areas, certainly suburban like Ben is, or even rural areas, because they don't need to commute to work every day. It could represent a really cool shift. It could solve some housing shortage issues. It could solve some economic issues in rural America. It could be really, this could be one of the positive impacts.
It could be. I think, and a lot of people don't share this opinion, but I think it's over-exaggerated. The bigger companies that you mentioned, like, Equifax, TransUnion, where company culture, I suppose, isn't as important, sure, those employees can work from home, but, like, I got used to working from home for 6 months, right? And I was enjoying it. I got into a good rhythm, and I said to myself, we're going back to the office after Labor Day, and I'm probably going to only go to the office 2-3 days a week and then work from home the rest of the week. Didn't happen. I've been in the office 5-6 days a week ever since I got back, because it's just, for me personally, or maybe I'm very lucky that I genuinely love the people that I work with and I love being around them all day, and we feed off each other's energy. We have a good company culture. That could be it. But personally, I like going to the office, and I think as people come back and start going back to the office, managers, owners are going to share the same sentiment and see that it's key to their business. And for essential people, yes, they'll be in the business, but non-essential, sure, will work from home. But I don't think we're going to see this shift where like 50% of the US working population is going to work from home. I think it's going to be closer to like 5 to 15%.
Oh,
realistically speaking, which, to be fair, like, if you average that 10%, that does have a dramatic effect on the economy. That does, right? Because it's 10% less office space that they need. But I don't think it's going to be everyone's going to work from home for the rest of eternity. No way. No way. Not going to happen.
So you feel pretty strongly about that particular point. No way. All right.
And 2 months ago, I thought the opposite way. That's what I'm saying. Like, I thought, working from home would be the future. And look, I get it. And that's been part of, by the way, the demand issue here as well. It's not just actually people moving out of the city, but again, very sad to say, we have a lot of estate sales going on because of people who have passed away from COVID. And then you've got people who are getting divorced as a result of COVID. And you've also got those people who have been working from home and are sick of looking at the same thing, because it's all subjective, right? You may have enough space at home, but they're just sick of looking at the same thing every day, and they want something new. They want space. So you've got those people who are looking for a change of scenery day to day as well. So that's obviously increased demand. But again, I feel very strongly on this, that it's only temporary, hopefully.
Interesting. I think that number's a little thin. I think that the majority of the population that would have the ability, that have been working from home, work for organizations that don't have that company culture. On that particular note, we agree with you. Jen and I were itching to get back in the office and doing it 3 days a week.
You guys missed each other.
We do, and certainly the rest of our team, and so on and so forth. And that company culture, particularly when we're talking about something in a sales environment, is almost required. It's literally almost a requirement. Very difficult to stay motivated in a sales environment if you're sitting by yourself for every working hour. That's hard. So for those of you that fit in that window, I get it. I do. But I don't think the corporations that maintain the majority of what would be commercial office space in this country have that culture, have those employees. 25%, I think that might be a realistic number. But 25% of the office working population being able to work from home and remaining working from home, either by choice or by force, because these companies just aren't going to maintain the office space necessary, it might be realistic. And 25% would be a huge impact on the economy.
Yeah, it's massive.
I mean, 10% is a big impact on the economy. But
Yeah.
Yep, and again, here we are back to square one where, we don't really know anything, and you can't believe a word anybody says, so...
But even if it
Who the hell
goes there, I feel like eventually it will come back. Maybe it won't come back within the next 1 to 2 years, but it will probably come back maybe 4 or 5. I mean, who knows? But... for some people are enjoying it, I mean, look, it's also easy for me to say I don't have kids that I'm taking care of day to day. So, for those of you that are and are working from home, maybe it's great for them. Also, some parents I've spoken to want to shoot themselves in the face because they're at home with their kids all day. So it's, both sides, right? Hard to say.
So, for those of you listening, we need to find Ben some kids. That's what I got from that.
Yeah, my beautiful nieces are enough for now, but you never know.
And we're getting some comments. David has been really vocal this morning. He says he refuses to go back to the office. I think there will be some of those people as well.
Who's David?
David Ryder.
Identify yourself, David. David, what's up, man? Yeah, I don't blame him. It's also different for everyone, right? But for us, we have a lot of face-to-face presence with the realtors and the clients that we work with. A lot of immigrants here in New York who insist on doing business face-to-face, right? It's just part of their culture. They don't necessarily want to do the entire loan application, but it's just part of their culture that they want to meet the person that they're doing business with. So it's important for us to maintain that presence here, but if you're in a part of the country where, like I know a lot of our community, Adam, or our crew, they don't even meet their clients ever. And that's quite normal for them. But everyone has a different reality. So David, if that's you, my man, then good on you.
Well, he does say he'll go to sales meetings, rallies. I don't know what that means, but I'm guessing that means something like Sturgis, knowing David. He was probably up in the Black Hills of South Dakota on his motorcycle last month. But yeah, I do get it. What does your structure look like, Ben? How many people are in the office? Other LOs, support staff? How many people are we talking about?
So me personally, it's just myself and one guy, Addy Singh, is technically kind of like my junior loan officer under me, but he's an extremely capable human being, which is why we're able to do the amount of volume that we do. So we basically work on the origination side. Then I think we have, I don't know, between processors, seniors, juniors, accounting, it's a full setup. I think there's like 30 or 40 of us right now, and we're growing tremendously. I mean, back in March, I think we were at 15 employees, and now to be at 30 to 40 is tremendous. So our personal setup is that, and again, it's quite different because New York is an attorney state. The amount of work involved in getting a loan closed, and this isn't an excuse or a knock on anyone, it's a little bit more than other states, right? So we cannot like hire some third-party processing company in Bumbleville to handle our files. We need processors physically in the office with us, right? So
all 30 or 40 of these people are in the office every day again?
The majority of them, all the ops are. Yeah, everyone in operations processing is, but I'd say 50% of the sales staff are not in the office. And that's okay because they don't need to be here. And some of them, quite frankly, are at-risk individuals. So we're just like, you can't come in, so you got to go. So, but that's, it's good. And we've got all this volume and it's fantastic. But, the plan is, I think, hopefully this time next year we'll be double. Hopefully, right?
Well, hopefully. We'll see how the world continues to turn. No question. Yeah. What do you think some of, and Jen's eyeballing me because she knows I'm going to run over, but get over it. So tell me, what do you think are some of the bigger personal impacts?
Like to me personally?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, going out to restaurants, not coming to Denver last month,
Yeah, exactly. So I love obviously seeing you guys, our whole crew. That's a big part of my life. And I texted Chad while you guys were there, and I'm like, I legit have FOMO. Like I was genuinely upset that I couldn't be there, and because I'm used to seeing you guys like at least 3-4 times a year now,
Right.
at least over the past 2-3 years. So that freaking sucks. And we're avoiding certain people. If I know like a friend of mine is out and about mixing and mingling with all these people, straight up, I'm avoiding them. And again, not because I'm at risk. I'll probably be fine, but I don't want to see them and then go see my parents, right, and give it to them or to someone else. So it sucks, man. We can't, here on Long Island, the restaurants are open. But just because they're open, it doesn't mean that I feel comfortable sitting in a restaurant with 100 people and then going to see my family. So, yeah, that stuff sucks. Just kind of everything kind of sucks. But we try and maintain as positive of an attitude as possible. But, traveling is a big one. That sucks. The amount of trips that we've had to cancel in the past 6 months has been astronomical. I had a plan. My girlfriend and I, we were going to go to Japan in February, and we can't do that now. Not just because of us, but Japan won't let any Americans in until April. So
At the earliest.
we have to cancel that. So there's more. There's like 5 other trips, and it sucks, man, but you have to just do the best with what you have. And every time that I get a little bit upset that we can't do those basic, because at the end of the day, traveling as much as we do is truly luxurious, right? It is a real luxury that a lot of people take for granted. The average person that I know goes away like once every year or 2 years, and they go for like 5 days to Mexico. And Mexico's great. I love Mexico. But I sound like Trump right there. I love Mexico. I love Latinos. That's hilarious. I hope you guys record. I have to edit that and like chop it up and do something funny. But
Oh boy.
it's always fun when I'm on board.
It is.
But that's basically what it is. It sucks, yes, but it's only temporary, and it's going to get better. And something I personally have to do a better job of is like taking day trips for the weekend, go somewhere upstate, bring in some or breathe in some nice fresh air, enjoy that. That I have to do a better job of, but otherwise it's business as usual, baby.
All right. Well, good. What am I missing, Jen? I know there were things you wanted to make sure Ben got out of his mouth in his repeat performance here.
Well, I wanted to talk about your video work. We've been missing your
my
videos.
lack of video work.
I was going to say, we've been missing your videos.
Hard to do when you're not in the office.
Yeah, so that's the exact reason why. So, because I haven't been here, I haven't been doing them. I'm still active on social media, but people aren't seeing my face as much. And quite frankly, at this very moment, that's okay. Because I don't want, we always want more volume, right? But like handling a massive influx of volume from the videos, I don't really need at this moment. As the winter comes, and since I'm back now, I am going to start ramping them back up, probably once every 2 weeks. Going to do something, but yeah, they'll come back. But it's like, why do it when volume is crazy anyway? Like, what's the point? It's just we need the manpower to handle it, and I'm trying to. I've conducted so many interviews, but it's also hard to find good people. So that's another thing that I'm working on. So as much as we're known for the fun, the sales videos, stuff like that, the origination. I'm working more on the back end on ops and manpower right now. And then once I have that in place, I'm going to go ham as F on Insta, Facebook, and obviously TikTok. I want to start ramping up on TikTok big time.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
As you should. I don't know if Jen has seen it, but I saw your ocean spray video.
Oh, yeah?
I did see it this weekend.
That was one take, baby. One take.
Well, that's impressive. Okay.
It was the first one. More to come.
Okay, good.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we think that the TikTok world viewing audience will gain a lot of entertainment from Ben's TikTok videos. In fact, Ben, why don't you give our audience your TikTok handle so we can get a jump on that?
I think it's ben.lavender1. I'm checking it right now. I'm going to change it so it matches my Instagram, which is blavmtg. I don't know how to do that because I don't know much about TikTok, but that's the plan. So ben.lavender1 on TikTok, and no, just benlavender1 on TikTok, and Instagram is blavmtg.
All right. Well, cool. I think that's a great platform for you. We don't come across that. I do. No, that's a compliment, I swear.
That's a very interesting way of saying, Ben, you're kind of crazy, but we love you.
Yes. You
true.
are kind of crazy. You're a little squirrely.
Yep.
You are definitely what we would refer to as eccentric.
Thank you.
Your video content is badass, or at least it used to be pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think TikTok's going to be a good home for some video
What
content.
are your thoughts on TikTok, Ad? Are you guys posting on TikTok at all?
Oh, yeah. I am Just the Tips Coaching.
Okay.
Jen?
And mine is Jen Waybor. Very original.
Wow, that's really creative out there.
You really take chances, Jen.
I know, right?
Pushing that envelope.
I'm following you guys now so I can steal your ideas and make them myself.
That's fine.
I think that's what TikTok is.
Yeah. It's a whole other side to TikTok, watching everyone complain about lack of, crediting creators, which I understand, right? But just kind of funny.
It is. All right, so, Jen, let's get Ben booked for another episode.
It'll be a different world.
It'll be a different world. And we're probably, 8 or 10 months out right now is when we're...
We are booking... I have one spot left for September of 2021.
Holy shit. Wow.
Uh-huh.
A year out. We're popular. Holy cow.
You really are popular.
Holy cow. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're about a year out. So, yeah, that will be a very, very different world. And that will give Ben plenty of time to put together some decent TikTok content so we can harass him about that.
Yeah,
Perfect.
been on the to-do list for a good year.
All right. All right. Well, Ben, thank you again for joining us. Jen, I'm sorry. I know we ran over and that you've probably got some restrictions on timelines when it comes to Apple and Google and Spotify and all the podcast
It's
sites,
fine.
so.
It's Ben, so it's okay.
It's Ben, so it's okay. All right. And for those of you that want to catch more of these episodes or want to catch the weekly little tip, our video blog, or just want to find out more information about when Ben's hair is going to grow back, use our text code. You can text tips to 63566 and it will ping you back all kinds of good stuff about Just the Tips Coaching and Rogaine for Men.
It's amazing.
That's amazing. That being said, all right.
I have no rebuttal. I'm defeated.
Well, I'm just glad that there weren't any Weight Watchers jokes, and I'm going to cut us off there and run our extra before Ben can get one in. But Ben, thanks again, man. We love having you on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it.
All right. And the rest of you watching and listening, we will catch you next week.